A very good morning, students. Welcome to the science session, and we are doing the revision of Unit 2 Optics. Isn't it now in the last session, what we have discussed? We have discussed few questions like the difference between concave lens and convex lens. What are the rules for the image formed due to refraction using the convex and the concave lenses? What are the properties of light? Right? Now, what are the applications of convex and concave lenses? Isn't it? We learned about these. A very good morning, students. Welcome to the science session, and we are doing the revision of Unit 2 Optics. Isn't it now in the last session? What we have discussed few questions like the difference between concave lens and convex lens. What are the rules for the image formed due to refraction using the convex and the concave lenses? What are the properties of light? Right now, what are the applications of convex and concave lenses? Isn't it? We learned about the Snell's refractive index, right? And a few application questions like why does the sky appear blue in color, and why the traffic signals are red in color, and why the sky appears red in color during the sunset and sunrise. So these are the few important questions that we have discussed in the last session, and now we are going to continue with this lesson, that is the revision of the next part, right? Now here in this session, we'll be learning about, or we'll be revising few important questions like what is persistence of the vision, what is power of accommodation, what are the defects in eye, and if this question is asked in 7-mark question, how you have to represent the answer, and microscope and telescope, what the advantages of telescope. Let's go into the session, children. Now look into the screen, children. So this is the human eye, right? Now you will not be asked the structure of an eye, that is explain the structure of an eye within diagram, but these parts are very important. That important parts of the human eye are very important, because this can be asked, the function can be asked in the objective types of question, or otherwise the function of a particular part of the human eye can be asked. Now for example, the first one is cornea. Now here in the picture you can see what is cornea, isn't it? Now cornea is nothing but a thin transparent layer that is in front of the eyeball, right? Now this is the main refracting surface. Now you need a refracting surface. For example, here we use the lens as a refracting surface, isn't it? So here the light enters through the cornea, it refracts and it bends and it goes into the lens, right? The next one is the iris. Now here the iris is given in a blue color curved surface, isn't it? So this is the colored part of the eye, right? Or it can be blue in color, brown in color, or green in color, right? So the function of the iris is to control the amount of the light that is entering into the eye. The next one is the pupil. Now this is something dark round structure like black in color, isn't it? So this is nothing but the central part of the iris, and this is where the light enters into the retina. That is, the retina is nothing but the screen where the image will be formed. Usually I said that in the eye the real and the inverted image will be formed, and this will be interpreted by the brain, and we'll get an erected virtual image. Now if you see the ciliary muscles, you can see the muscles on either side of the lens. Now these ciliary muscles are attached to the lens so that it changes the focal length of the eye, so that it is adjusted according to the object, according to the position of the object, right? So if the ciliary muscles gets weakened, then there will be a defect in the eye. Next is the most important thing, the lens, right? Now you can see the white color lens, isn't it? So this is very important. It is a convex lens, so you are getting the real and the inverted image, but it will be interpreted by the brain, and you get an erect image, because whenever we see the object, it is not an inverted one, isn't it? So it is an erect image. So finally the brain gives you the erect image. Now we'll see what is power of accommodation. So power of accommodation, what is mean by power of accommodation of an eye? The ability of the eye to focus the nearby object as well as the far off object, right? So you're not able to see only the nearby object, you are able to see the far off object also, isn't it? So your eye will adjust in such a way that both the nearby object and the distance object are viewed clearly, or visible clearly. Now this is due to the ciliary muscles. I said that the ciliary muscles will get adjusted in such a way that the focal length of the eye get changed according to the nearby object and the far off object. Now if you see the nearby object, the focal length will be different, and for a distance object, to see a distance object, again you need a different focal length, isn't it? So accordingly the lens will change its focal length, and this is carried out with the help of a ciliary muscles, and this ability is called as the power of accommodation. So when the power of accommodation is asked, so you will write the first paragraph, which consists of the 5 lines. So the ability of the eye lens to focus the nearby object as well as the distance object is called as power of accommodation of the eye. This is achieved by changing the focal length of the eye lens with the help of ciliary muscles. So this will be the answer for the power of accommodation. The next is the persistence of the vision. Now we said that the light enters into the eye, isn't it? Now it is not a single ray of light that enters into the eye, right? So there are too many rays, too many light pulses that enters into the eye. So but the time interval between the two pulses, that is the two consecutive pulses, should be less than 0.1 seconds. Otherwise the eye will not be able to detect them separately. So and this property is called as the persistence of the vision. Now if you see the far point and the near point of the human eye is 25 centimeter, right? So you will be able to clearly see the object at 25 centimeters. So it is 25 centimeter for a normal eye, right? And the far off distance, that is the distance point is the, or far point is infinity, right? So this is about the far point and the near point, because this question, what is the far point of the eye or what is the near point of the human eye, can be asked in the objective types of question. Now the next question is the defect of the human eye, right? Now this question can be asked as a single 7-mark question. Now if this question is asked, you will write the 4 defects, that is myopia, hypermetropia, presbyopia and astigmatism, right? So first you will write what is myopia, what are the causes of the myopia, what is the correction, and what is the focal length that is required for the required lens, right? So first, what is myopia? Myopia is nothing but the short-sightedness, right? Now what is the cause? It may be due to the lengthening of the eyeball or due to the focal length of the eye lens that is being reduced, right? What is the defect? The nearby object can be seen clearly, but the distance object cannot be seen clearly, right? So the far point will not be infinity, right? It is much lesser than the infinity, right? So due to this, the distance object are formed before the retina or but is not on the retina, right? Now how it is corrected? It is corrected using the concave lens. Now here in the picture you can see the concave lens, right? So the focal length of the concave lens is calculated using the formula, that is f is equal to x y divided by x minus y. So these are the details that you will write for the myopia. Now if you see the hypermetropia, what is hypermetropia? It is nothing but the long-sightedness, right? Now what is the cause? This defect is due to the shortening of the eyeball. The eyeball gets shortened, right? And the focal length of the eye lens is increased, right? So hence the near point will no longer be 25 centimeter, right? Now what is the correction? It can be corrected using the convex lens. Now here in the picture you can see, right? Now what will happen when you use this convex lens? The image will be formed on the retina, right? And the focal length can be calculated using the formula f is equal to small d into capital D divided by small d minus capital D, right? So these are the details you will write for the hypermetropia along with the diagram. You can see the 2 diagrams, isn't it? Hypermetropia and the hypermetropia corrected eye with the convex lens. Next is the presbyopia. Now what is presbyopia? This defect is both like due to the myopia as well as due to the hypermetropia. So usually it is due to the aging, or if you can see that the ciliary muscles will get weakened because it cannot adjust the focal length according to the position of the object, right? So mostly the aged person will not be able to see the nearby object. You can see the old person removing their spectacles and they read the nearby object, isn't it? Again they wear the spectacles to see the far off object, right? So this can be even said as an old age hypermetropia. Now how it is corrected? It is corrected using the bifocal lens, because you have both the defect, that is myopia as well as hypermetropia. So the upper part of the lens consists of concave lens and the lower part consists of convex lens, right, for the reading purpose. The next one is the astigmatism. Now astigmatism, that is, they are not able to see the parallel lines or the horizontal lines, right? Thus this can be corrected using the cylindrical lens, or surgery can be done to remove the cataract on the lens, right? So the correction is using the cylindrical lens. So these are the informations that you will write for the defects of human eye, and you should draw two diagrams, one for myopia, the other for hypermetropia. Next important 7-mark question is the compound microscope, right? So when this compound microscope is asked, you should write what is compound microscope, construction, working, and the ray diagram. So you have 3 important side headings, right? It's compound microscope, so you will write the construction, working, and you will also draw the ray diagram. Now while drawing the ray diagram, see to that you write all the details like A, B, that is the object, A dash, B dash is the first image that is formed, and A double dash and B double dash is the final image that is formed, and the eyepiece and the objective piece, and all the details like F1, F2 has to be written, that is the focal length on the either side of the lens should be marked correctly, right? Now if all the details are missing, right, then you will not get marks for the ray diagram. Now if you see the compound microscope, compound microscope is used to see the tiny object. Microscope, as the word indicates, it is used to see the tiny object, isn't it? Now if you see the compound microscope, the magnification power of the microscope increases, isn't it? So the construction, if you see, it consists of 2 convex lenses. So one with shorter focal length, which is kept near to the object, so it is called as an object lens, and the other one which has longer focal length, and this is kept near the eye. We used to see through the lens, isn't it? So that is the eyepiece, right? And this will have a large focal length. So both the lenses are fixed in a narrow tube. So these are the information that you will give for the construction. Next is the working. Now in working, you can see in the picture the line AB, upward arrow mark AB is the object, right? And it is placed slightly greater than the focal length of the objective lens. So this point is very, very important, because you should get a real and an image, inverted image, right? Now the image that is formed will be the object for the eyepiece, right? So the position of the eye lens is adjusted so that A dash, B dash falls within the principal focus of the eyepiece, right? Now this eyepiece will give you the virtual, enlarge, and the erect image, right? Now because A dash and B dash is the object, isn't it, for the eyepiece, right? But it is an image for the objective piece, so that this object will be adjusted so that the image A double dash B dash will be an very, very enlarged image, right? And this will appear on the same side of the object. So that is then very, very important point. Where is the image formed? The image is formed on the side of the object. Now how is the image? It is a virtual, enlarged, and an erect image, right? Now if you see the magnification power, so it is nearly 50 to 200 times more than that of the simple microscope. So this complete information should be there if this question is asked for in 7 mark. Next is the advantages of a telescope, right? Now the telescope is usually to see the larger area, isn't it? It covers a larger area, right? So to see the distance object, right? So elaborate view, in the sense a larger view of the galaxy, planet, stars can be seen using this telescope, right? And camera that is attached to the telescope will take the photograph of the celestial body, so you can get the informations regarding the celestial object, right? And the telescope can be viewed even in low intensity of light, even in the dim light. It gives you the great vision or the elaborate vision. So these are the advantages of the telescope. This can be asked in 2 mark question. So any two advantages is very, very important. And when you write 2 points, when it is asked for 2 mark question, see to that your sentence is very, very clear and it gives you all the information. Now look into this question, children. This is about the differentiate the eye defects, myopia and hypermetropia. Now here you are not asked to explain the defects of the eye, but you are asked to differentiate the myopia and hypermetropia. Now I have uploaded the PDF and you can see this particular answer. That is, this is the PDF answer. Now here the answer is given in the form of a tabular column, isn't it? And nearly you have 8 points, and this can come as a subdivision in the 7-mark question. Now when the differentiate is asked, always you have to represent in the form of a tabular column, right? And you should give the corresponding opposite point on either side, right? Now here you can see in the 8th point the diagram is given, isn't it? And or the 9th point is also given. So here you are given the focal length that is required for the concave and convex lens for the myopia and hypermetropia respectively, right? So try to give the differentiate in the form of a tabular column, and this is also a very, very important question. So we have revised all the important question in the optics lesson, isn't it, children? So in this, the most important question is the compound microscope and also the defects of the eye, right? So see to that you write all the detailed answers with the diagram. It will not be mentioned in the question paper, but it is a mandatory that you have to draw the diagram for the 7-mark question, right? Please do revise these important questions, and if it is a derivation, please do the derivation and practice it. And in the next session we'll revise the next chemistry chapter. We have completed 2 physics chapters. We have revised 2 physics chapters, so we'll go to the chemistry chapter in the next session. Till then, take care. Thank you, children.